How's it going, everybody? We're gonna be planting stuff today. Yeah, first I'm gonna show everybody. First I'm gonna show everybody our garden and all the stuff that's in our garden. And then we're gonna all of the stuff in our yard and for the garden. And then we're going to show them how we start the garden, okay? So here's a full garden tour, all right? We got some ramp things over here I gotta clean up, but behind the ramp over here, there's usually some wildflowers and stuff, maybe some sunflowers that'll grow over there. There's also some ferns. I forget what they're called, but we planted them one year. These fern things down here, if you can see them. And apparently you can eat them. So we learned something about that a couple years ago. Someone gave those to us. But usually we plant some lemongrass in there. And then we planted some holy basil in this one. Hopefully it comes back. I think I see some little greenery down here. Yeah. So I think it will come back soon.
I see it.
We did tomatoes in here last year, and we just collected some shells last year from the beach, so they just making some designs with them. But we will do something in here. I'm not quite sure what it'll be, but we did tomatoes in there last year. I just built this bed last fall, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how I did that. This year last fall we planted some garlic in here, so we're hoping that these will grow. They pulled through, so it looks like we're gonna have something, but we're not gonna pull them yet. And that's our gnome.
Did a bird in his beard?
Yeah, there's a bird in his beard.
That's funny.
And then we got another bed over here that I built. So these are both 6x12 beds. And I'm hoping that I can do 2 rows of plants on this side and 2 rows of plants on that side with a little tiny walking area right in the middle here. So we'll see if that works out the way I want it to. And then right here, we've got 3 nice boxes of strawberries. And we can never have enough strawberries. I built this bed last fall too.
Here, there.
Yep, and these are 4x4s, and this is a 2x4, I think. And I got to build one of these cages for this one too, because the birds will eat them all. But yeah, besides that, that's pretty much all of our plants. The only other thing that we have is way over here. It's probably hard to see. I'll go over and show you in a bit, but there's some raspberries way down there. So that's about it for edible food in our garden. I'm gonna just quickly explain the quickest way to build a bed, in my opinion, and the cheapest.
And then maybe if we grow so much this year, my dad might make another bed.
Yeah, we might want to make more beds, so we might do another bed here. Maybe we'll do I don't know. We're trying not to get rid of the whole yard, but we really want the beds.
We might put all the beds and like a ton of beds in our yard, and then my dad might be able to like make a maze out of it.
Oh, that'd be crazy. So it took us a couple seasons. We actually started a garden over there, right in this area, but it was too it wasn't sunny enough. The trees up here were blocking the sun because the sun kind of comes up from here, and it would block all this area for most of the day, so it really didn't work out. Yeah, there's stuff growing.
What is that?
I don't know. We gotta probably pull it out.
Oh,
but
I know what it is.
So to make these beds, the best way I found to do it, and I'll show you a video of me doing it differently. It is cheaper, but it's way more time consuming to do pallets. So the truly cheapest way to do it is to go to a company, local business that gives away heat treated pallets don't get pressure treated or any type of chemical treated pallets. You want heat treated pallets that you know what actually was carried on the pallet, because if there was some kind of chemical that was dropped on them, you know, you could run into some issues there. But for the most part, I used heat treated pallets. I'll show you a little video I did of it. Yeah, wow, that's a cool Lightning McQueen bike. So awesome. 100 miles an hour? Wow. So the cheapest way to do it is to get heat treated pallets. You cut them up, and then basically you take a 2x4 and you run it along the longer side. You run it along the length, and then you take the pieces of the pallet that you cut up and you basically attach them the long way to make the walls. So that's the cheapest, absolute cheapest way of doing it. Personally, I did it once. I won't do it again because it just took me so long to do. You know, it wasn't worth saving, you know, a couple $100 or whatever I spent on these beds, to be honest. So I won't do that again. But this is the cheapest way that I've and most efficient way, I guess, to build beds, in my opinion. So all you do is you want to go to Home Depot and you want to buy these cement blocks. They, I think they're like $3 or $4. I'll link it in the description below. But you can see that these are stacked too high, and then these are 2x6s. They're 2x6s. They're too tall, and these are designed to hold 6 feet of length. So if you're going to do a 12-foot or say an 18-foot, you need to have 3 of these in place 4 of them. So you go 6 foot to the next one, 6 foot to the next one. If you want to do another one, you got to do 6 foot to the last one, right? So just something to keep in mind so that they don't bow and fall over. But basically I just stacked them too high. I cut these lengths 6 feet, and then I stuck a piece of rebarb right down in here. I cut different, I cut 4 foot long pieces. I cut them in half, and then I just nailed down the 2 foot piece so that 1 foot was sticking out and 1 foot was in the ground. And they seem to hold pretty well. I mean, probably need to adjust them a few times, but I'm not gonna cement them like permanently because I might want to change it later. But basically just buy some weed paper to put underneath all of this, or you could use cardboard or even like paper bags if you wanted to, and then set up the box. And then I just ordered some compost from a local organic compost delivery service. And I think I ordered a yard. I might have ordered 2. I honestly can't remember because it was last fall, but ordered like 1, 2, 3 yards, something like that. Dumped it in, and you can even tell that it's not completely full. I could put some more in there, but that's basically what I do to build the beds. And then the other thing that I do in terms of nutrients is I strictly use something called the down to earth line, and it's basically powdered amendments that you're putting in on top of your soil. So usually you can like mix it in deeply, but if you have your beds already set up, you just sprinkle it on top, and then you rake it in and you let it kind of break down. And it takes, from what I understand, it takes about 6 months for it to break down. So you want to do it in the fall to feed your plants in the spring, and then you want to do it again in the spring to feed your plants at the end of the year, and then do it again in the fall to feed them for the spring again. So you could pretty much just do like two amendment rounds a year, and that should get you by. These actually all these beds, I think I can get by with, it's like their smaller option. It's not the big like 40-pound bag, but it's like a smaller box. I think I can amend all these beds within that one box. So you don't really need a ton, but you should be pretty liberal as you're spreading it around. And then here's the last thing that I'll say. We could talk about this all day, but this is kind of the last tip that I'll give you today, and we could talk about it some more. If you have questions, feel free to list some in the comments. I'm just making sure my kids aren't running away. But yeah, any comments, ask in the description or in the comments below. Just any questions that you have regarding gardening. I love to answer them, so feel free to ask away. But the main thing that I do here that I feel like really does make a huge difference is I filter my water. I dechlorinate the water, and I use, I'll link it below, what it's called, the Boogie Blue Plus water filter. So that filter, you can get them on Amazon. I think you can get them directly through their website, and again, I'll link it below. But basically this goes onto your water hose, and we use something similar to that in our water for the van too. But I think I did the math, and I can get away with like 2 years for one, if I get the Boogie Brew Plus filter. I forget how many gallons it does. It probably says it right on the thing, but I get a new one every 2 years. This one does 45,000 gallons. So I don't know how often or how much water I'm watering, but to be safe, you know, a new filter every 2 years for a common gardener is probably realistic. Maybe not. I don't know. You know, everyone's going to be different, but that dechlorinated water, the reason for everything, you know, the down to earth amendments, the organic soil, the untreated wood, everything is designed to allow the micro life within the soil to continue to thrive. And when you take regular tap water from your house that has chlorine in it, and you water your plants with that chlorinated water, it kills all the life in the soil. And just like your gut biome kind of dictates your emotions and how you feel in your health overall, and if you take an antibiotic, you basically destroy that microbiome, both good and bad. Same thing happens when you take chlorinated water to water your garden. So what I do personally is I filter the water. Supposedly that does allow you to drink straight from the tap if you do that, but we don't really do that. And then I just water pretty much. The only other things that I use that might be worth mentioning is something called mycorrhizal fungus. So when we do the transplants this year, I'll show you how that works, but mycorrhizal fungus is basically just a kind of like it's a dried like powder slash kind of grainy.
And we're making these flowers.
Yeah, we're gonna plant those plants really soon. But mycorrhizal fungus is like it's like a grainy, almost like a kind of like a Himalayan salt kind of thing in terms of texture. Mycorrhizal fungus is something that you put on the roots when you transplant your plants. So we're gonna plant our seedlings, and then when the seedlings are big enough, we're gonna move them over into the garden, and then we're gonna put mycorrhizal fungus on the roots, and it actually creates a second root system that helps the plants get the nutrients that they need. And so that's it about our garden. It's a quick garden tour. I guess the only other thing I should mention before we get into it is your other option is something like this. It's a fabric bag, and this will help your plants. It's designed for air pruning. So basically what that means is your plants, if they grow in a regular pot, they'll start to wrap around themselves if you let them sit in there too long. And that's just because they're continuously looking for nutrients, and the roots are growing, but it's always dark, so they just keep going and going, and eventually they get root bound and kill themselves. So the way you avoid that is you plant them in a fabric pot, and when you do a fabric pot, the roots get to the end of the pot and then they stop because they sense that the end of the bag is apparent, and then they actually bulk up instead of just wrapping around, so they get thicker and thicker. You really get much more of a bushier root system than just a few strong ones, continuously wrapping around and getting longer. So kind of a cool concept. They work really well. I'm going to use them this year for potatoes, and I don't know, I'll find some space around here and probably just do like a bunch of rows of bags. All right, here's the seed company that I bought from. It's called Territorial Seed Company. I usually plant my seedlings way too early. I'm sure a lot of people are guilty of that, but I told myself I wasn't going to do that this year, and I'm trying to plant everything by Memorial Day weekend, I think, which I think we're coming up to in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So if I could just get little tiny sprouts, then that should be enough. I just want to start them. I don't need them to be really, long plants, because then they get leggy and not as healthy. So we got Nova tomatoes, organic tomatoes, which are like a plum tomato. Broccoli, Bellstar F1s, cucumbers, Market More 97s, carrots, Napoli F1s. I can't remember what. Oh, this is oregano, basil, lettuce, more basil from last year, and then we got some flowers that I think I bought at a garden store last year. I'm just gonna throw them all over the place in the backyard.
A sunflower.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Sunflower.
We're gonna have some fun with the flowers. But let's plant the veggies, okay?
Okay, and then wait.
Yes.
Sunflower.
So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take that bag of soil right there.
We're gonna dump it all over.
We gotta dump it all in here, okay?
I'll go right here.
Just some Home Depot organic garden soil, okay? Nothing too fancy. Doesn't need to have food in it or nothing. Doesn't have to be. I actually prefer it not have food when it's seedlings, because you could end up burning the plants. Good job. Keep going.
Put in a bunch of spread it, spread it. Spread it, spread it, spread it.
Whoa.
Perfect.
All right, so we put all the dirt in the grow cubes, little squares. And now Noah's special job is to poke a hole in each one. So that's what he's working on right now.
Boom, right here. Right here. Hey, Daddy.
Yeah.
What's my special job?
We're gonna be planting the seeds.
Yay! These girls. I'm doing great, guys.
You're doing awesome. Okay, keep going. You're gonna do all of them. All right, it's the next day. We actually had to stop planting seeds because it was so buggy and mosquito-y out here. So today's the next day. We just finished putting the seeds in. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. So we actually only ended up needing 2 trays, because each one of these trays has 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 72 plants in each one. So we really didn't need that many, but we got broccoli, peppers, thyme, cilantro. We've got basil, cucumber, broccoli, tomatoes, 2 rows of tomatoes, and some lettuce. So that's pretty much all we need. We just have a couple extra rows right there that we could use something for. And then I have some carrots here, and I've never had a lot of luck with carrots, but I'm just gonna try to direct sow them right into the bed. And I think I'm gonna do, because the sun comes up like this and goes around, I think I'm gonna try to do lower, like shorter plants here, and then do like peppers and tomatoes back here. Hopefully it'll give it the right amount of sun for everything. So I think I'm gonna do a row of carrots right here, and then on this one I'll do a row of lettuce over there. So let's get to it. So all I'm gonna do is take this hoe, and I'm just gonna try to dig a trench right in here like this. Might even do two, but I bet you I only have enough for one row, so we'll just keep it like that, and I'll go in a little deeper. Okay, and then you grab the seeds. Nice job. Now we're gonna do another one.
Oh, another row?
Yep, we're gonna do 2 rows of carrots.
Guys. 2 rows? We're gonna have a lot of carrots.
We're gonna have so many carrots, dude.
Mom, we're gonna have 20 million carrots this year, I guess. But how are we even gonna get in?
You walk through like this.
Oh, so we're gonna make like a little space.
Yep.
And then we're gonna go like make the row like right there.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
No, but where's the plant?
we got the Boogie Brew water filter hooked up right over there. And now we're watering the plants. Noah's watering all the carrots.
Alright, now go up here to the next row.
Water them real good.
Yeah, but put it right here. Put it right here. Yeah, buddy.
Good job.
All right, Noah.
All right, now it's Luke's turn. Nope, you already did the carrots. All right, I'm taking the seeds, I'm bringing them inside just in case it gets kind of cold at night. We also don't want the seedlings to dry up. Those little pods can dry up really fast if they're outside, so I'm gonna keep them inside. I got this light here, kind of hard to see, but it's pretty small. More than enough light, to be honest. If I were anybody starting out today with this many starters, I would just get lights like this, and I'll link this and the bigger option in the description below, but this one's from HLG, which is a great lighting company, but more of a it's just more of a serious, like, you could use this light to sustain a plant inside year round, where those other lights I showed you probably more or less for seedlings, and then after they're seedlings, like, you really shouldn't be using them for a regular grow light, but you could theoretically. So nothing wrong with those other lights, but this one is my favorite right here, this HLG. So yeah, this is just what I'm gonna do. I try to keep this as simple as possible. If you learn anything from me, I am set it and forget it. I don't want to keep coming out here and dealing with stuff. I just want to set it up, have it run. You know, I'm even one to advocate for a watering system, but that's a lot of work, and for right now it's manageable for me to just go out and water once a day. We'll talk more about some other tips and tricks and things that you should do as well in later videos, but I thought today this was a good introduction to gardening, how to get started, what to look for, what to buy, what to use, and in future videos I'll talk more about how to maintain the plants once they're in the ground and everything. But for now, this is a good place to start, and wishing you the best in your gardening season. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments below, and I love helping people learn how to garden, so this is one of my passion projects. If you want any help with gardening whatsoever, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. So appreciate you watching. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next time.